Hello kiddos, welcome to my kitchen. I found a really cool recipe on the internet. People are so creative. I am not that creative. I gotta kind of cheat and take their ideas and run with it. But this is what I found on the internet. Ta-da! These are turkeys made with sandwich cookies and cotton candy and malted milk balls and of course Reese's peanut butter cup. How cool is that? Wouldn't you like to have that on your Thanksgiving table? I think that would be cool. You could probably even make it, a place setting. Anyway, I'm going to show you how to make this today. I'm going to move my camera down to my work surface, so I'll see you at the end of the video, and pay attention, and I will show you how to make these. Okay, be back in a minute. Okay, welcome back. What we are going to need for this recipe, of course, is our candy. I've got some Reese's peanut butter cups, the miniature ones, not the big ones. And, of course, some malted milk balls. Some corn candy. I like to use with the yellow ends, and then I also have some with the chocolate on the end. So there's a variety in there. And, of course, our double stuffed sandwich cookies. And the reason for the double stuff is because I need more surface in here in order to push the candies in. And if you don't get that, it's kind of hard to do without breaking the cookie. Okay. Put this aside and we will look at them again later. So the first thing also we're going to need is we're going to need various colors of royal icing. Now, royal icing basically is an egg white with about 1 1/4 cups of powdered sugar beaten together until you make this frosting. I've already colored this frosting red, and I'll show you how I did that in a minute. One thing about royal icing, it dries out quickly. So you must always keep it covered with a damp cloth when you're not using it, okay? And of course we're going to need some white of the same kind of royal icing and some brown. So I'm always keeping these things covered so they don't dry out. Now also, if you watch my last video, we talked about mise en place. That's having all your things together, everything that you need in order to make your recipe. So you don't have to stop and run around the kitchen and try and find something. You know you have it right in front of you. Now this is what I call my trash bowl. So whatever I use and I don't need it anymore, instead of running over to the garbage can all the time, which is inefficient, I use this. I put everything that's going to go in the trash later into this bowl. And once I'm done with my recipe, I can just take this bowl to the trash can and throw out the contents, and I have saved myself many steps. We'll also need some toothpicks. We're going to use those for our royal icing. Now I could have used piping bags or a little squeeze bottle to do all this, but not everybody has piping bags. And I found you didn't really need to get all that stuff out and dirty all that stuff in order to make this project. But I just use the toothpicks. We will also need some colors. I've got red, because we're going to have to make a little wattle, which is that little long thing that hangs down on those tom turkeys. It kind of jiggles at the bottom of their throat. And I have some brown, of course. And the reason why you want the brown is you want to be able to attach the cookie and all that together, and you don't want to have to see like white frosting coming through. That would look bad. So we use the brown to cover up anything, makes it look like it's just, like there's nothing there holding it there, but it is. All right, now that we've done that, I'm going to show you what I did with the royal icing, the white royal icing, to make this brown. I took a big scoop of the brown food coloring with a clean toothpick and gouged some out, or dug some out rather, with my toothpick, and I put it in the white frosting, and then I just kept stirring it until I got brown. Now, if my brown wasn't dark enough, this is very important. Never, ever take a used toothpick of any kind, even if it's brown, and stick it back in your food coloring, because that will ruin that food coloring. And then you can't use it anymore. And these food colorings are not the cheapest, so of course you don't want a one-time use. You want to make sure you take care of them. Always use a new toothpick to get out more of the coloring. Food coloring does stain. As you can see, I've already got a stain on my finger. It will come off with soap eventually. So don't worry about that. It comes off. Or have your parents help you do it if you're going to make a big mess, because, you know, you don't really want it all over your hands. So my first step is to take my sandwich cookie, just one. I'm just going to put right here on my work surface. And I'm going to lay it down flat. And now I'm going to need, this is where a part of the feet are going to stick. So we lay this flat. And this is going to make the upper body. And that is, of course, this Reese's Peanut Butter Cup, the miniature ones. So of course, you want to peel off any paper or anything. So you just have your candy. And I'm going to get out my brown icing. I'm going to take a clean toothpick and I'm going to see how it's starting to crust over a little bit. It'd be even worse if we didn't put that wet paper towel on there. Make sure you always keep your stuff covered with a damp paper towel. Anyway, so now I'm just putting some on the side like this. And I'm going to run some along the very back of him. And the reason I'm doing it on the back is because that's where that sandwich cookie, the other sandwich cookie I'm going to use, is going to adhere to. This is like your glue. It's edible glue because you can eat this. So, after having done that, just on that little bit, just on that little bit on the bottom, I'm going to put it right here, that sticky side down. Whoops. Right on my sandwich cookie. And you see how I also have some more of that frosting right in the very back of that candy? That's good. We want that. All right. Now I'm going to need another sandwich cookie. And that's going to be the part of his plume where he ruffles up his feathers. Now I need some more of this brown. And just on the portion of the sandwich cookie, like I did the candy, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue. My wonderful royal icing glue. And I'm going to add just a little. This is the part that's going to sit on that other cookie. That's my base. So now I have a little bit on there. And I'm going to take that and turn it upside down and stick it right on that piece of candy sitting on the cookie. Oops. Let me get that in range. So you see how it's attached now? I have glued the bottom of this cookie and this candy to this cookie, my bottom base cookie. And of course, I've glued the candy to this cookie attached to the back. So here we got that. Now, here's where you're going to have some patience. This is going to have to sit for a while. It's got to get a little dry so that it sticks. If you don't, it rolls around, and then of course you have this cookie that's not staying in place when you need to stay in place. I made this one earlier and I let it sit for a while, and I've given the royal icing a chance to dry and kind of glue all that together. So, is it starting to look like a turkey a little bit? Maybe a little bit, right? Well, now we need to give the poor turkey a head. And that's always good to have a head. And make sure we cover up our brown frosting. In between each cookie that we're making, make sure that that wet cover stays on this frosting because it will dry out. So I'm going to set that aside. And I did the same thing with my red frosting. I got out my red food coloring. I got a clean toothpick. And I dug some of this coloring out into my white you know, set some white aside so you can color this red. So now I have red. And I stirred and stirred and stirred. And if I needed more, I could get a clean toothpick and put in more food coloring. Remember, always, always use a good, clean toothpick. Do not stick back in the old one. You will make this coloring go bad. All right, so now we have our red. And we have to make our little waddle. And what I did with that is, once again, this is where a toothpick's really handy because you don't need a lot. You just need a little bit. And I just kind of dipped my toothpick into my red. That's all I need. That's not much, is it? But it's enough. And I grabbed a malted milk ball and I kind of just stuck it on there. Just kind of, you know, start at the top and let it drip down. Look, you see that? I have a waddle. You'll know what I mean once I get finished with the whole project. Okay, this has to dry too. You can't just stick it on there because then you won't be able to do anything else. So I'm going to set that aside and let that dry. I do have another one already prepared. So you see how that waddle is dry now? That's dry. I can touch it. Nothing's going to happen to it. Now we got to glue the head to the body. I need to get out my brown frosting again, royal icing, and take my toothpick and just set it right here. Can you see? Just a little bit on top. You don't need just enough to hold the head in place. Okay. Whoops. Let me get him here. He wants to roll away from me. Oh, I'm going to need more. Because he's going to have to take a lot. Because he's... Can you see that I put where I put it? I put it on top now. Because we want our head to sit on top. And I'm going to put my head on. Make sure you use enough frosting to hold him on because he needs extra frosting. I can see where I don't have quite enough. So I'm going to take him off and actually add a little bit to the bottom of his head because he really needs it. He is just needing a lot of glue. Okay. Add him back. Look what we have now. Is he starting to look more like a tom turkey? I think so. All right. I'm going to let him dry. And when we come back, we are going to add googly eyes. Or you could just use the white frosting to make some googly eyes on there. But I have some googly eyes, which I forgot to say at the beginning of this video. So bear with me. I will get the googly eyes. They're edible candied eyes that you can put on there. And so when we come back, I will glue those on after we've given him a little chance to dry. All right.